and walked up on one of the hermits who Spirit had told him the Savior's coming. And had 2 orphans that he was caring for prepare a blessed oil, a wreath, and a sword. And then sure enough, Washington walks up on him. They anoint him, put a wreath on him, which shows this is, again, a part of Rome, right? And gives him the sword, defender of the poor, you know. And so his consecration occurred right here on this Wissahickon Gorge, this Pangean microcontinent. And I know it wasn't coincidental, right? And, you know, they lost the Battle of Germantown, right? So that's even, I'm not even going to get all into that, but...
Who they lost the Battle of Germantown? Washington and them?
Yes, Washington. The British won the Battle of Germantown. Yeah, so here, I'll pass this garnet around, let y'all check it out. All right, so now, so y'all understand the significance of this land and where we are, right? So now, this statue right here, when you really understand the story behind that, what you'll often find is like when they build their monuments and their memorials, right? On one level, it might look honorable, right? But then when you get deeper into it and see the story, it's like,
smack in the face.
Really? So we do need to know the story of Tedesco and the walking treaty of the proprietors of Penn.
What was his name again?
Tedesco. So now, I talked about this yesterday. Algonquin over here, we were a refuge society. We were a society made up of people seeking refuge and asylum. If you made it across the Atlantic, agreed to live really one law, but 5 basic laws: I, self-law, and masters, you know, self-governance. Do unto others as you want done to you. Don't dishonor the earth. It's for everyone to share, right? You willing to live like that, and the grandmother clan okayed you, you could have as much land as you could walk in a day. That was the tradition, right? So you got the whole William Penn saga. We may build on that more. But then, you know, William Penn had 3 sons who are known historically as the proprietors of Penn, the businessmen for Penn, right? And after Penn died, they approached the Lenape sachems, Shechems, right? And was like, yeah, our father said y'all had a treaty that we could have as much land as we could walk in a day. And the Shechems, they were like, yeah, that's real, okay? So these guys, just so extra, can't just, you know, can't just write like, okay, most of I and I'm sure we could have as much land as we could walk in a day, we'd be full of gratitude, right? 60 acres, you know, 100, like even if you wanted to really like go ham, right? 200-300 acres, you'd be thankful, right? The proprietors of Penn rigged this thing such that when their day was done, they claimed from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. Alright? They took as much land, they took from Philadelphia.
What was they passing the baton or something like that?
Yeah,
they passed the baton.
They hired the fastest runner.
It was relay.
In Philadelphia. They cleared woods. They made trails. They lined that thing up such that at the end of the day, they claimed from Philly to Pittsburgh, and then was telling the Lenape, y'all gotta roll. Y'all gotta get out of here.
Oh, Lord.
Right?
After they allowed them.
Y'all gotta go west.
Now we done let y'all.
Y'all gotta go west
Yes, you're right.
of the Alleghenies. Okay? So, obviously, that was contested. The Shechems was like, nah, no. You know? So they called on Tedescan to represent the Lenape, to meet with the proprietors of Penn, to work this thing out. And this is what's known historically as the Treaty of Easton. Okay?
Right.
This was held up in Easton, Pennsylvania. It was at the home of a man named Paul Grogan, who was of Celtic origin, but could speak Algonquin. And this speaks to something else we mentioned yesterday, that those 10 lost tribes, when they came to the Americas, they went through those British Isles and then took that northern route. So there was a language affinity. So Paul Grogan felt he was like an intermediary to work between the Algonquin and colonizers, right? So it's at his home, okay? Tedescan gets there, and first words out his mouth, he says, I'm not here to make no decisions. I can't make no decisions. I'm here to listen to what you all are claiming, because there's some claims to land, some deeds that y'all have, that the people who wrote those deeds, they didn't have the authority to write them. And some claims that y'all have to land, this is talking about the walking purchase, some claims to the land y'all have, like, you know, we meant one thing, we expected one thing, but then y'all have taken it to a whole nother level, right? So I'm here to find out all of the claims to the land that y'all have. Then I'm going to go back and report to my people. But I'm representing 6 clans, and I'm spokesperson for 6 clans and the ears for 4 more. Here's a wampum belt to show you the different clans I'm representing. So they were like, hey, can we study that? Let us see that real quick. And he let them see the wampum belt, right? So they kept trying to leverage him into just signing off on everything, negotiating. And he wouldn't. And this back and forth was going on for days. Each day, what are they doing? What are they doing each day?
Examining that belt.
Well, they're doing that, but they're also giving them rum and tobacco. Rum and tobacco. Rum and tobacco. Intoxicating him. Clouding his judgment. Right? So, over the days, they were able to kind of wear him down to like, okay, I'll negotiate with you if I have a secretary, someone to write down everything that's said from my perspective, because last time we negotiated with y'all, right, we thought it was one thing, but then y'all pulled out a secretary and some notes and said it was something else. So I want a secretary. The man who ended up being Tedescan's secretary is Charles Thompson, who was also the Secretary of the Continental Congress He's known historically as the Samuel Adams of Philadelphia.
You said Charles Thompson?
Charles Thompson, yes. He also designed the Great Seal of America with the resurrected phoenix as an eagle. Okay, showing that this is Rome resurrect. All right.
Many streets.
So we'll really never know what Tedeschian's words really were, because he never made it back to Philadelphia to report to the other Shechems and the grandmother clan what was said, because mysteriously, somehow, while up there, Tedeschian contracted smallpox.
Germ warfare.
And he died. He died before he made it back. But who showed up in his place?
Charles Thompson.
Charles Thompson. And he said Tedeschian wanted this proclamation to be heard from the shores of the Atlantic to the Alleghenies.
That was the trickery now.
Meaning all the land they wanted.
Right.
That, you know, Tedeschian signed off on everything, said all our deeds were right. You know, all the land that we claim is truly ours. And y'all gotta go.
Y'all gotta get on this road.
And if you don't believe me, here's the wampum belt he gave me, showing that I'm representing him. Okay?
Right.
So to memorialize this tragic story, they built a statue of Tedeschian on our council rock, looking west, and that's the name of the statue, looking west. And it's all about him watching the nation being deposed west. Now, to be honest, you were given an option. You were given an option, though. I should mention this.
Come on.
Okay?
Come on, Ras.
Because you had to go west if you wanted to maintain your indigenous identity. If you chose to stay on your ancestral land, you had to get the legal status of a Negro. You had to get the legal status of a Negro.
That's why many don't know today.
So that's Tedeschian and looking west. And Council Rock on the Pangean microcontinent known as the Wissahickon Gorge.
Wow.
So, Ras, I wanted to add what I had added the last time we were here. You know, I'm, of course, on this journey, recognizing, you know, my indigenousness here. But I just wanted to say this, you know, if you're on this continent, or in Philadelphia, or you come from anywhere from New York all the way down to, down south, Atlanta, whatever, Florida, and you got generations and generations, you have a 90+% chance of being indigenous,
Of course.
from this rather than African.
Of course. Of course.
So then look up your rights. Get free, that's all I'm saying.
Yes, sir. So from here, we're gonna make three. Usually my tour will end at the art museum. We're gonna pass on the art museum today, so we can just kind of be a little, because there's a free group, and yeah, I just want to free up. I don't want to be worried about time and the clock,
Thank you.
So we're gonna pass on the art museum, but we're gonna talk about it. And each one will have as a mission, if you haven't gone and studied the George Washington equestrian statue at Eakins Oval, that's a mission for you, right? Okay. We're gonna from here we're gonna hit.
Are you going to that statue that's on Kelly Drive, the one that you were kind of letting us know about
Spirit
it.
of Enterprise.
I think so, yeah.
Because
I really didn't really got by there to really kind of translate that. I know you told us about it, but
you'll be close to
you know,
it. Y'all
yeah.
just might be,
but before we leave today, I want you to just kind of
Talk
translate it,
about that.
just translate it to me, you know, personally, because I want to go there and just really get my, you know, get a look at that. Yeah.
That's the end of that. That's the end of all that
Okay,
rock
for sure.
So, and I mean, I can, you know what, this would be a good place to talk about it.
Okay.
Here, more than the others, because I mentioned it, right. There's a man named Elias Boydenot.
Elias Boydenot.
Elias Boydenot.
Oh, you
That's the name I needed to know.
All right, so Boydenot Street, up on, when you're on Route 1, you're on Roosevelt Boulevard, going north. And just right between B and C, you'll see Boydenot Street. It's named after the Boydenot family. Very prestigious family in the earlies of Philadelphia, you know? And Elias,
What's his name?
he wrote a book called A Star in the West. I'm paraphrasing the subtitle because I can't remember it verbatim, but it more or less says A Star in the West, a humble attempt to locate the 10 lost tribes of Israel, and have them be a part of our new nation. Okay? It's a free online PDF available. So if you Google Elias Boydenot, A Star in the West, you'll find it.
Ross, what's the brother's name again?
Tedescan.
Tedescan.
Yes.
Do you have the spelling?
T-E-D-Y. Oh, T-E-E. T-E-D-Y-S-C-U-N-G.
What was the name of that again,
Teddy.
the title or something?
A Star in the
Star in the
West.
Tedescan.
All right, Elias Boydenot. B-O-U-N-D-I-N-O-T. Boydenot. All right. So Elias Boydenot more or less said, hey, these Algonquin, they the 10 lost tribes. We should bring their seed into our nation because these are the ones who, by prophecy, are going to be able to re-enter Jerusalem and build a new Jerusalem. So we see that policy played out today. And there's a statue that memorializes that on Kelly Drive called the Spirit of Enterprise. Where you have, I was meditating on it, it might actually be a Lenape woman.
Wow. Yeah, because
On the bottom,
Oh, holding the feet up.
he's holding the feet of a giant man and a large eagle. The man is holding a caduceus, the serpents of which have untwined and have intertwined both with the indigenous person. You can tell they're indigenous because they got locks. Holding up the man and the larger man, right? Talking about taking their bloodline, incorporating their DNA. And they're facing east, the eagle advancing Rome, all about the Crusades, retaking Jerusalem.
So it's just all been a Game of Thrones, pretty much. I mean, family lines.
Pretty much. And if you look at the indigenous person from one side, he looks like a person. Go and look on the other side, it looks like a penis.
Right.
It looks like a penis coming
Right.
from a
Yeah.
large
Reptilian.
Yeah.
Looks reptilian.
Yeah, it's a very deep statue.
Yeah, that's
But
a
unless
deep
you,
one, yeah.
unless you know Elias Boydenot, the Star in the West, and his plan for how to use the Algonquin, you wouldn't understand what that statue
Right.
represents.
all right, I got to get on the line.
So can you talk a little bit about, what they had to do in terms of being able to take the land, taking the women and going into the women and having children with them?
Well, there's
The
a couple
process.
there's two statues that embody that. And that goes into, let's talk about that at Lover's Leap.
Okay.
All right, let's talk
Okay.
about that at Lover's Leap.
We got